throughout Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Florida. One of the nation's largest Ace dealers. Expertise and great product selection in paint, hardware, lawn and garden. That's Rocky's. Rock solid service since 1926. On the web at rockies.com.
I'm Mark Auerbach. Join me every Friday at 8 a.m. for Arts Beat, where you'll meet interesting actors, directors, designers, and musicians here in Western New England.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Lost like a road that you travel on, when it's one day here and the next day gone. Sometimes you bend, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn your back to the wind.
There's a world outside every dark and dawn, where the blues don't haunt you anymore, where the brave are free and love is soar. Come ride with me to the distant shore. We won't hesitate to break down the garden gate. There's not much time left today. Life is a highway. I won't ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I won't drive it all night long. Through all these cities and all these towns, it's in my blood and it's all around.
I loved you now like I loved you then.
This is the road and these are the hands.
From Mozambique to those Memphis nights, to the Cabo past to Vancouver's lights.
Knock me down, back up again.
You're in my blood, I'm not a lonely man.
There's no road I can hold, the road's so rough, this I know. I'll be there when the light comes in. Tell them we're survivors. Life is a highway. I won't ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I won't drive it all night long. There was a distance between you and I. A misunderstanding once, but now we look you in the eye. There's no road I can hold, the road's so rough, this I know. I'll be there when the light comes in, tell them we're survivors. Life is a highway, I won't ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. Gimme, 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 yeah, life is a highway. I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. Gimme, 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 yeah.
And welcome to Superintendent Spotlight, broadcasting live. Back
Y'all are
from
having way too much
Studio
fun in there.
21. Yes. Well, we're back. We were just reminiscing slightly about the awesomeness of the science fair last week and broadcasting from there. And then
Mr. Daley, you missed a great time.
He did. And so did
Well,
Mrs. Groom.
somebody's got to do the dirty work over at the school, guys. I can't just go up to the.
Never
Okay,
stops.
Mrs. Groom, you should have come up and joined us.
Yeah, Mrs. Groom
Well,
should.
somebody else has to do dirty work.
I gave
as
her the
well.
green light to go.
And we were also commenting on the outstanding rendition of "Life Is a Highway" by our show choir. I believe it's our show choir.
Yeah,
right,
that's
Pete?
a show choir.
They did a great job. I didn't know they sang the entire. We typically on our show, if those of you guys listening, this is the number 2 talk show out there, Superintendent Spotlight. But if you listen to the number 1 talk show, we don't listen to the entire song. just because we want to get going. We have so much information. So maybe a little
Yeah, but
tidbit
they're
for
the
a little
last
help
show of
for
the
you
day they
guys.
can go over.
Okay, well,
This is very true. And by the way, there just before we get started, this whole thing about number 1 and number 2 shows, I didn't realize it was a competition. I thought we were community radio just out there for the good of the city.
yeah.
Well,
we learn something every day.
I am, but Kevin isn't.
Right.
Well, Mrs. Groom, if you'd like to comment on how this competition came.
I can make mention that on May 5th of 2022, our superintendent, Mr. Zaporowski, called us a rookie show.
Now, you have that written down?
You've been
Gauntlet
know-
thrown.
I was going to say, why does that not surprise me in the least? That not only is it written down, you knew when he said it, how he said it, probably the inflection in his voice, all right, and all of the above. So, but yeah, we're very excited to be here this week, back home, broadcasting from WTA. And, we've got Mrs. Dargy from the curriculum office is joining me today in lieu of Mr. Zaporowski not being here today. Mrs. Dargy, how are you today?
I am wonderful today. Very happy to be here. And I think that one of the reasons I love to guest co-host on the Superintendent Spotlight with Zap and Chris show is that we support all content areas.
Absolutely.
We were at the science fair last week. The arts, we support the arts by
Absolutely.
playing the whole song on our show.
I think it's great, and you guys do what you do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I just
do
and
you.
we're very excited to have the hosts of the show that comes on prior to us. So they're actually doing double duty today, right? And that's Mrs. Groom and Mr. Daly
It's an
from
up-and-coming
Tiger
show.
Talk.
Up
Right.
and coming.
Before and look, I got to be honest. I think their show flows so seamlessly into ours. It's like the warm up band before the the headliner goes on.
Yep.
Which is kind of nice. But one of the things that they've gotten better at over the last few weeks is they're actually ending their show on time and not usurping the first 5 or 10 minutes of ours.
Yeah.
So that's been a good transition over the last. So we need to shout out the students who have been making sure that's been happening.
Yep, and that's good. And thank you for that constructive criticism, Mr. Rogers. We appreciate that. And let's not forget that Mr. Rogers' son is the last segment of the show. And do you want me to cut off your son and his talk time?
Have you,
No, not at all.
Okay.
have
Not
you
at all.
seen me trying to stop Mr. Daley and Al? And I'm getting told
It's a work in progress, and you know what? Since we have added the kids to the show, it's been amazing. Our kids over there are really stepping it up.
And that's really the point. The kids that are working behind the scenes, that are working in the booths, producing the show, going in and out of transitions and breaks, and making sure everything is on time and on target has really been fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So thanks for being here, by the way. Thanks for doing double duty today. We appreciate that. Today's WTA's turn in the rotation on Superintendent Spotlight, so we get to talk all things WTA, all positive things WTA today.
Oh, we could talk negative too, but we don't want to.
No.
but it happens to fall during CTE week.
It does happen to fall
Perfect
during
timing.
CTE week. But, before we even get into that, what is today, Mrs. Dargy? What's today besides Thursday?
I'm glad you asked because I have received my lesson plan from Superintendent Zaporowski, and I know that today is National Almond Day.
Love almonds.
I love
Yeah,
almonds.
me too.
It's hard to say something negative about almonds. You can toss them in a salad, ground them into flour, use them for a healthy alternative to milk.
Put them in
or-
candy?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
There it is.
Almond Joy's got nuts, Mounds
Mounds
don't.
don't.
Almond Joy's got real milk chocolate, coconut and munchy nuts too. Mounds got deep dark chocolate and chewy coconut. Ooh. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Peter Paul, Almond Joy's got nuts. Peter Paul, Mounds don't. Because sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
There's not much I don't have in the library.
Thank you.
What?
Thank you.
Yeah, 2 of the worst candy bars ever.
Oh my gosh, I love almond
disagree.
joy.
Sorry.
Don't say that.
I just did.
Almonds are among the most versatile and delicious of nuts, and they are filled with vitamin E, magnesium, and fiber, so they're wonderfully healthy and may even help fight heart disease. So we are paying tribute today to these tiny powerhouses.
They are.
Packed with goodness. Later in the show, we'll have a little quiz. We'll see how much you know about almonds. And I believe Chef Rogers and his students have a little something special for us in the third segment.
Excellent.
Nice.
Looking forward to that.
Oh, definitely.
I didn't know the almond nut was so versatile.
Just watch and learn. More to come. More to
All right.
come.
Great.
Speaking of versatility, Mrs. Groom, what's going on these days here at WTA? You said you did mention that it's a CTE week this
It
week.
is. It's career and technical education week, and we've got lots going on this week in particular. But this school is always hopping.
Oh, definitely.
But we've had the 8th graders over from Westfield Middle School to tour 3 days straight. We're having our sophomores inducted into their shops today, officially in the auditorium at 12:30 this afternoon. We had the National Technical
Honor Society.
I'm going back to my middle school days.
Yes,
with the
those
junior.
were the days.
And that was on Tuesday.
She's crushing it. Got it. Keep going,
I'm
Mrs.
crushing
Groom.
it.
Is there
I
anything
look
else?
over.
There's one more. There's
I
one
was
more.
going to say, anything
Yeah.
else going on this week?
Yeah. I'll let Mr. Daley talk.
Oh yeah, sure. Thanks, Mrs. Groom. So everybody turns their head towards me.
He
So,
talked to me
as
having the
Mrs. Groom mentioned, we have 3 days of the 8th graders coming. They finished up Wednesday. It was fantastic. Administration from Westfield Middle School came by,
Awesome.
checked out the school. Our new principal over there,
Mr.
Jesse
McMillan.
Mr. McMillan, came and saw the school for the first time. I believe. I'm just going to go on a limb.
Yeah,
I
go
gotta
on a
feel
limb
like he
there.
was
Sure.
really impressed.
I spoke with him last night.
you did?
He was
Okay.
extremely impressed.
We always like to get new people in to check the school out because they're always blown away.
By the way, just to not to interrupt, but Dr. Shea, our colleague, our new Director of Assessment Accountability,
Yeah.
she came on a site visit with me last week to the shops because she had been upstairs to academics a couple of times, but had not really gotten into the trenches in the shops yet, and she was completely blown away.
Yeah.
So, when you come to this school for the first time, it's definitely eye-opening.
Yeah, people are in shock, amazed at what is happening in each shop. And we have our own little business. We got 12 businesses that are running
Absolutely.
every single day here, and it's amazing. Kudos to Mrs. Groom for keeping it going, and she does a great job with that. And Tuesday, so we had 3 days of the 8th graders coming in, which was great. And that's part of our outreach. Like, we want to try to get our 8th graders to see it, because a lot of the kids don't know. For instance, my son's in 8th grade.
Sure.
He wants nothing to do with Westfield Tech, but not because of what's in the shops, but maybe because of
of
who
you.
works here.
Yeah.
But even when he came out, he's like, you know what? Culinary was sort of cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
that's good to
construction
hear.
wasn't bad. So I'm like, oh, do you want to come? He's like, no.
Well, tell him that if he came here, he'd be by his sophomore year, probably be a starting third baseman or second baseman.
Yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
possibly. Yeah, maybe. So we had that. So it's just really great. And
sorry. Academics first,
That's
of
it.
course.
Mrs. Groom mentioned our National Technical Honor Society, which was Tuesday. We inducted 16 juniors into the program, and we had a guest speaker, Mr. Rogers, who was just ended the program so eloquently and just capstoned it, and it was fantastic. And it was Mrs. Dargy right
Which,
there.
by the way, proves that she can speak publicly.
Oh, she was great.
And the reason I say that is because my colleague to the left can also do it too.
Yeah.
Even though she tries to hide. Right.
You know, one thing about Mrs. Dargy and I, we're not looking to take the spotlight.
Exactly.
Why did I know that was coming?
Thank
Ding.
you, Mrs.
Yeah.
Groom, for pointing that out.
Yeah. Well, the spotlight was on her that day,
Yes.
and she rose to the occasion.
Very.
Spotlight was on the 16 juniors
Yes.
Isn't that
that
amazing?
were inducted, 2 of whom I had at Paper Mill.
Oh, you
as
did?
Students
Oh,
when I
nice.
was principal, and I'm sure you had
A couple at
several,
Abner Gibbs, yep.
or in
North Middle.
Or North Middle,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's wonderful to see
Yeah.
students, and that was one of the things I said is that, the high school sometimes thinks they invented these students, but, they are supporting their success, but there are many teachers along
Oh,
the way,
yeah, the-
behind the scenes, following
Takes
their
a village.
Yeah, the
accomplishments.
pre-K to
It does
12
take a village.
continuum.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, so Thursday, great job. Thank you for joining us on that. Today's our induction ceremony.
Nice.
Are you guys going to attend, or anybody from Central Office going to be there? Hopefully, one
what
of you.
time?
It's 12:30.
I think my invitation may have been lost in interschool.
I don't think I got
I
one.
can
So
double check.
Well, you guys are more than welcome to have a little buffet, and on your way to walk off the buffet up the stairs to the ceremony and join us. And then Thursday today's Thursday. Friday, tomorrow, we go to Abner Gibbs, your old stomping grounds, Mr. Rogers, and we have all 12 of our shops going to do a little activity with the kids just to get them excited about CTE week.
what time, Mr. Daly?
We are heading over approximately 8:30, 9 o'clock.
8:30,
somewhere
9
around there.
o'clock.
that is.
If you want to
incredible.
pop by and check it out, I'll give you the definite time we're leaving. I know I got to drive a couple shops over there,
Sounds
drop them
great.
off. So that actually is the. I remember going when we had Russell Elementary for that
Oh, yeah.
short minute. We did that. The kids, the little kids, when we bring in activities, they just go crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
Horticulture brings in little seeds to plant. Manufacturing brings in an air compressor and some tools. The Allied Health reads stories. They do puppet show with them. It's really and you think high school kids, they're not going to do very well.
No, they do great.
They blow it out of the water. So
sure do.
we're excited about that Friday too. So we got this is a big week for us over at Westfield Tech.
Absolutely. And Pete, we're right up against it. So let's take our first break with our first song. And I believe, once again, this week, all of our songs were in the top 100 of this particular year.
I don't think he sent me a list.
I did.
I thought
You did?
Mrs. Dargy
When?
did.
I did Wednesday.
I'll double check, but
Wonder
I don't
why
see
the
anything.
numbers are down on this show.
I didn't. I just looked to see if you sent me
You
something.
can always play Life is a Highway again.
Finish it
Well,
up.
can I-
Play the rest of it.
Can I
Still got
tell-
3 minutes to go.
Can I tell you which one maybe you want to start with?
Yeah.
Or is it too late?
No, go ahead.
One, U2.
Oh, sure.
Okay, hold on one
Octung
second.
Baby.
Yeah,
I know.
I went to U2 a couple times. Let's
Me
sidebar while he's
too.
getting that song up.
I
Did you
saw
see?
U2 in Boston on St. Patrick's Day.
God.
That was the best.
There.
Kevin Daly might have been there.
I went to U2 as well.
Yeah.
I don't
All
remember
right,
the date.
I'm ready.
All right, play it up, Pete.
I didn't write that one down.
You don't have it written down?
I did.
Is it getting better? Or do you feel the same? We'll make it easy on you now. You got someone to blame. You said one love, one life, and it's one need. To share, leaves you, baby, if you don't care. Did I disappoint you? Leave a bad taste in your mouth? You act like you never had love. You want me to go without. Is it too late tonight to drag the past out into the light? We're one, but we're not the same. We're to carry each other. Carry each other. Have you come here for forgiveness? Have you come to raise the dead? Have you come here to play Jesus? you got when all you got is hurt. One love, one blood, one life. You've got to do what you should. One life with each other, sisters, brothers. One life, but we're not the same. We get to carry each other, carry each other.
Join me, Tina Gorman, each week from 6 to 8 a.m. for Wake Up Wednesday, when my guests and I discuss health, wellness, and lifestyle reimagined.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
And we're back with Superintendent Spotlight, again from beautiful Studio 120 here at Westfield Technical Academy. So good to be back home. That doesn't mean that we didn't have an outstanding week last week at the Science Fair, because as we've pointed out a couple times, we did. It was a fantastic show. You know, one of the things that just really stood out was how well our students did, not just at the fair, but when they were on the show with us. They were like, some of them had never been on the radio before, and they were like naturals, weren't they, Pete? They were amazing.
Yeah, they were killing it. It was a great show.
Yeah,
and
totally.
It went by very fast. 2 hours went by fast.
Totally comfortable being on there, talking to us about their projects, about their experiences, about the process. I mean, just was fantastic. Fantastic. So speaking of fantastic.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you for having me.
I was going to reintroduce my co-host for the day, Mrs. Dargy, and my guest to my left, Mrs. Groom. What do we have today, though, Mrs. D? We've got a quiz, don't we?
We do. We have a quiz to see how much you know about this superfood called
Almonds.
the almond.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to ask.
How many questions?
3 questions.
Gotcha.
And we need somebody to keep score.
I will.
It looks like you're poised and ready there to keep score. So this is multiple choice.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to start with a different person giving the first answer each time.
Well, that's good, because if I go first every time, everybody's going to get a
Chooses
perfect
the
score.
same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I heard that last show that I was on somebody's coattails.
What? Okay. Which of these is not a typical preparation for almonds? Not. A, blanched. B, slivered. C, peeled. Let's start with you, Mr. Daley.
Oh, we don't. I believe we don't. Yeah, we don't
Plant.
peel almonds.
So your answer is C?
Correct.
Okay. Mrs. Groom?
My answer is C.
We should all write down our answers beforehand. I mean, if you want to do it right. So then.
Thank you for the constructive criticism,
You're welcome.
Mr. Daley. And Mr. Rogers?
I'm also going to go C. I'm not even sure what blanched is, so I'm just going to.
They're lighter in color.
Okay,
Don't tell him.
the correct answer is C.
Yay!
Common preparations would be chopped, blanched, sliced, or slivered. Next question. Nice job on that one.
Thank you.
Next question. We'll start with Mrs. Groom. This pliable dough is an almond paste that can be used to make edible creations. Do you want the 3 choices, or do you just want to?
I think I know what it is,
fill in
so
the
I'm gonna.
blank.
I think I know what it is, but I think
You
I'm
wanna
going
hear 'em?
to do
Yeah.
process of elimination.
Okay. A, Cazenand. B, marzipan. C, almondine.
I'm going with B because that's what it was in my head.
All right, B. Yes, great. Mr.
Oh, I'd be a
Rogers?
fool not to say B, Mrs. Turkey.
B as well.
Wow. This
got that.
group is
Coattail.
really knows a lot about almonds. Okay, here is the third question.
And I'm going first.
Hopefully the tiebreaker.
Hey.
You're going first, Mr. Rogers. Almonds have been shown to reduce what? A, signs of aging. B,
No.
high blood pressure. C, male pattern baldness.
It's B.
Give me the years. If it's baldness, give me.
I
as
was going to
much
say, Mr.
almonds
Daly
as
and I
possible.
eat almonds almost every day, so
Not
it's not
working.
male pattern baldness.
Yeah.
So it's definitely B. I'm going B.
What was B option?
B is high blood pressure.
Reduce high blood pressure. Okay, and the A was what?
A is reduce signs of aging.
Am I guessing, or is Carol?
You're guessing.
Oh, I'll go with aging.
Aging.
Aging was what, A?
Yeah,
A.
I don't.
Carol.
I was going with blood pressure, B.
High blood pressure.
Outside
B.
the box.
Okay. So the correct answer there is A. Signs of aging.
Oh,
What?
I think he saw her paper.
No, I didn't.
No.
I can't even see that
He
anyway
didn't
because I'm
see it.
aging.
No, I didn't put the answers on the paper.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
Just
thank you.
because
I thought
knew.
almonds reduced like heart disease and blood pressure. And,
Almonds, there is something to the fact that almonds help fight heart disease.
gotcha, but not
but-
necessarily blood pressure.
In the information I received, it does not mention that particular high blood pressure. But the great news here is that Mr. Daley has just won one of the two worst candy bars
Hey, I get
in
almond joy.
existence. I believe he
Yeah,
noted it at.
almond joys and mounds.
So,
It's the
it's the
coconut.
coconut.
It's the coconut. It's not the almonds.
Luckily,
Well-
I
Oh,
love
but
it.
I'll
It's
take it.
not National Coconut Day.
I'll take it.
But
No.
it is National Almond Day. So
Wow, awesome.
well done, Mr.
Learned a lot of nice things about the almond today so far.
That's our goal.
Hopefully there's
Nice.
more. Hopefully there's more. Great.
But wait, there's more.
Well, going back to the candy question, Mr. Daly, it sounds like you didn't like mounds or almonds.
I did not. No. No, it's the coconut. Isn't coconut in both of them?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
coconut.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big coconut fan. Obviously, if
Duly noted.
if I'm on an island and that's all I got, I'll learn to like it. I'm not a coconut milk, and then there's a lot of or coconut water.
But what's that then?
These are almond joys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why do you have it then?
Okay, Mrs. Darchi,
Wait a minute. Were you just taking a break?
I just won that, Mr. Rogers, for winning the quiz.
No, you won and got it, but you don't like it. So I'm like, what are you doing with it?
Oh, well, I'll distribute this appropriately at the end of the
okay.
show.
It is king size.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Shareable. It's
And
shareable.
almond joy is with milk chocolate. Mounds is with dark chocolate.
Is that the
Oh,
difference?
I did not
It
know
is.
that.
She is
Wow.
correct.
Besides the almond.
Wow. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, Mrs. Groom, you never cease to amaze me.
Right,
Nice
so
job.
now I win some of that
Yeah.
almond joy.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to give it to you. This is your win for Mrs. Groom won the football picks for the year on the Tiger Talk, the #1 rated talk show on WSKB, and she won the football picks for the year. So her gift is the almond joy.
So,
Congratulations.
Hey, that's
Mrs.
called
Grimm,
a
I
regift.
did not realize that you won the picks for the year. Congratulations.
Yep, we did. We announced it. Although Mr. Daly was trying not to announce it, but I was very pushy
Disappointed.
over a
Yep.
couple weeks.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it will
So
be. announced.
congratulations to her.
Yes,
Yeah.
congratulations.
That is awesome. Well done.
So we've been talking about Career Technical Education Week. Could we back up for our listeners to talk about how do students get to this magical place called Westfield Technical Academy?
Sure.
What is the process?
Well, so Carol, you want to talk about that? Or you want me to roll
Go
with
ahead,
it first?
start. Go
You sure? Okay. Interject if I miss anything.
sure will.
So typically, this is year number 12 for me here at Westfield Tech, and,
Absolutely.
and actually the second year I've been pretty heavily involved with the admissions process and with Mrs. Groom as well. So we, right, we. So what is like Top Gun? You remember that? Like we goose. Okay. So. So,
By the way, not to interrupt, did you like Top Gun too?
It was a repeat of the first one to me. It was good.
Yeah.
It was entertaining, but it was basically have an accident, going to struggle through this, get through this the death thing,
Yeah.
and I'm going to
And
say
Goose's son.
Yeah,
You know that
yeah,
whole
right.
story. It was okay.
Could
I
have
agree.
wrote it.
Sorry.
you know. Yeah. So anyway, so we try to outreach to, as you know, this week we're outreaching as young as first grade to get the kids involved and interested in us, and in 8th grade. They decide we give tours, we give shadows, we do all these things to promote our school. And the application process, we have an application process here. They're due. We have deadlines and dates. Mrs. Groom, April
1st.
April
for
1 is our due date.
in-district. Yep.
She keeps me on track for dates and things like that.
details.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a great binder person. So, and I appreciate that.
Databases.
She's very
Yeah.
she's very organized. She's the yin to my yang, if you will. So,
That sounds familiar. Huh?
yeah. So anyway, they apply. They get their applications in by April 1st. Mrs. Groom and I will review them. There's 5 major categories that are approved by the state. So we don't make this up arbitrarily. The state has to approve what the rubric is, which makes it easy for us because there's no. We're not slanted anyway. There's no nepotism. There's no. It is what it is. The score.
Very objective.
Yes,
process.
objective. Thank you.
Yes.
That was the word. They're based on their attendance for the year on 7th and 8th grade, their grades for 7th and 8th grade, their behavior from 7th and 8th grade, a recommendation from their guidance counselor, and the last thing is
Interview.
Interview.
That's right. So Carol and I have state-approved questions for the interview as well, so they all get the same questions. And it's a scale of, 1 to 5, I think it is, Mrs. Groom. All of those tallied together equals 100 points. Then we scale and rate them, on a spreadsheet. And we accept, we had over 220 applicants last year. We accepted 160 plus. We find a cutoff, Some years it's 160, some it's 164. Size-wise, mathematically, academically, in our academic shops, we cannot handle, in the classroom, we cannot handle more than that many kids. Just out of schedule and academic teachers, we just can't do it. That said, also in the shops, there's parameters on how many kids per instructor you can have based on square footage and the size of your shop. So we found, since Mr. Zaporowski is here and we started increasing our enrollment little by little, we changed our name. We did a lot of great things. And I was here with Mr. Zaporowski as well when that happened. I make sure he knows that.
I don't think he could forget.
I know, of course not. So
Neither can I. But
yeah, we have to remind everybody. At any rate, we pick those kids, and hopefully we always lose 5, 6 kids maybe that are on the fence of going to Westfield High or coming to Westfield Tech, whether it be their friends. Maybe they want classes that maybe we don't offer. We don't have AP classes. Maybe that's their track. Or sports is a big one that hurts us.
Although that's improving with
We are.
co-op
Yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah. So
well, I think half the high school wrestling team. I don't know about half, but maybe 30, 40% of the wrestling
I
team.
think we have 13
is
double
Westfield
digits.
Tech.
Yeah. So we have definitely increased our participation in varsity athletics here. Which
absolutely.
The big one, the big elephant in the room is football. Am I crowding you? Am I pushing you too close? So football is a big one for us that we, every year parents they want their kids to come to Tech, but they also want to play football. That's a tough decision for a 14-year-old to make. But I always say, we typically don't go send anybody D1 football, but we send somebody to a pretty
but I understand. But I understand
Yes.
the concern, and there was a time here where Westfield Tech had its own football team, and that was, how do I want to say that the nicest way possible? That was not an ideal situation. There just weren't enough student athletes to have both a boys soccer team and a football team, and have them both be legitimate programs. It just didn't work out.
Well, with the football team, we would start with 30 kids, say, right? And you need 11 to go, to play offense and defense. And we would lose kids halfway through because they're going on co-op.
Injuries.
Or injured.
Yep.
And before you knew it, you had 15 kids playing both ways on offense and defense. And then, in the end, you're getting creamed and you're losing the game by 100. So.
And the other, and you mentioned the co-op piece of it. there are very, very specific rules by the MIAA that there are a lot of factors that go into that. It's not just, hey, let's join Westfield High School for football. It doesn't. Westfield High School's numbers would have to slip under a certain piece.
Correct.
And then other teams in our league would have to approve it. So there's more than one step to having a co-op program.
Yeah.
So
that's that's what we run into for problems and obstacles for us to come here. I mean, if we had the school size to accept, 200 kids, we'd do it, but
just one more thing on sports, Westfield Tech has had over the last few seasons some really phenomenal athletic seasons, right?
Yeah.
Our boys soccer team basically
Western
won
Mass champs.
Mass this year. Our baseball team the last few years has been qualifying for both Western Mass and the state vocational tournament and the state tournament.
Yeah.
And same with basketball, although boys basketball's had a tough run this year, but overall, and I think Coach Figgy's had
cross country
team's been
we do well,
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we're on the up and coming for sure. I mean,
Definitely.
as long as our numbers stay up where they are,
and you know
we'll
what?
Continue to get
and you
better.
know what else that our listeners might not know, because I don't know if it's a well kept secret or not, but we also have a band here.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Mr. Kennedy from the high school comes over, I believe, once a day and does band here.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Groom, back to acceptance. After all that takes place and decisions are made, and it is all about choices.
Yes.
Like the hard ones that
Oh,
we're just
definitely.
talking about. And then what happens? The students receive.
We send out a letter. I just want to make one note, too, that we do have out-of-district applications that come in. They're due March 15th because that has to go to the sending district's school, whoever makes the decisions. The superintendents usually sign off on the Chapter 74s. So, certainly that's a smaller number than the Westfield kids. But once we have all that done, we send out letters by May 15th to let the kids know that they've been accepted or not, so that they have an answer. And we invite them for what we call freshman barbecue orientation. So in June, they'll get the opportunity to check out the school, come with their families, have dinner provided by our culinary arts department, and they get to tour the building on their own, check out the shops, meet some of the teachers who may be here, and so they have a really good feeling for, and we're always evolving. We're always trying to come up with ideas to connect the kids before they even get to this building. So
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Well, Pete, let's take another break right now, and when we come back on segment 3, I believe we're going to have some very special guests on National Almond Day. We'll be right back.
They all that thing you changed was love to hate.
breakdown.
Never gonna get it, 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 never gonna get it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Never gonna get it, 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 never get it.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donuts shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
This is Ken Stomsky from Ken's Den on WCPC 15 and 89.5 FM, Tuesdays, 8 to 10.
Community Radio 89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
And we're back with Superintendent Spotlight, broadcasting live from beautiful Studio 120. And we have some very, very special guests with us this morning from our Culinary Arts Department. Girls, why don't you introduce yourselves to our audience?
Hi, my name is Mary.
Mary, what grade are you here at Westfield Technical Academy?
12th.
Mary's a senior in culinary, and to my left?
I'm Grace Burris. I'm a senior here at WTA in the culinary department as well.
Girls, today's National Almond Day. Tell us about what you made for us and what you brought down and the process you used today.
We made almond, European macarons. What's in it? It's usually almond paste, egg whites, conventional sugar that's fine, and vanilla and almond extract.
It sounds awesome. I could tell right away when we brought it down and set it here, I said, my gosh, I think I smell the vanilla or something or almond. It was amazing.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely think this is like a nice little kind of like candles in here already. It's just filling up the room, Like I'm getting hungry for just being near them. So
should I do an official taste test?
Of course, sir. Of course.
All right.
Grab the tongue.
I know. I just got in trouble.
Driving me crazy already.
I just got in trouble for not using the tongue. So all right, ready?
Great.
This is quality.
Yeah.
Delicious, delicious. Girls, would you mind serving my colleagues over at the table? Thank you so much. Thank you to Chef Rogers and all of our students down in culinary. We're celebrating National Almond Day today with these amazing almond cookies brought down from our kids. European macaroons. I haven't had a macaroon in so long, but this is awesome.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you.
Mary. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Absolutely great. Yeah. So, hey, what I wanted to mention while you guys are stuffing your face, I wanted to talk about we had a deal with the Starfires last year. You guys know the Starfires, the baseball team that plays at Bullens Field. Say yes?
Yes.
Okay. So we have during a baseball game in June, right, Mrs. Groom, in May actually, late May. We have our 8th grade students go to the Starfire game, and then they also visit our shops. We set up a portable shop tours on the field. So we do that, and it's actually a good time. The kids
Live
get
TV. You gotta love
the
it.
8th grade students love it.
Yeah.
So it's great. And Mrs. Dargy, what do you think about that?
I think that the Starfires are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And we have things happening at several different grade levels.
Mm-hmm.
And we appreciate them very much.
Yeah, and special thanks out to Chris Thompson for that with the Starfires and all that stuff. And Mrs. Groom is an avid baseball fan as well, so she hits the Starfires of Mr. Groom.
Yeah.
And
I'm kind of a master of the multitask.
You
so
are.
I did hear exactly
Yeah.
everything you were saying while I was asking Grace if she had a little container, because Mrs. Minicucci is a big fan of the coconut macaroon.
we're going to give her a bunch.
And I think some of the other
Yeah.
employees back
And you
at
felt that was
district
necessary while the show was
offices-
being aired
Well, I
to
felt
talk
like
to them
we
about
could
that. That's
do
great.
both,
No,
'cause,
it's good.
you know,
Not
you were
distracting
doing
at all.
your thing
It was
and I
perfect.
doing my thing.
It's good. You did a great job.
Thank you. You too.
Mr. Rogers,
Could we
back
talk
to you.
about the songs for a moment?
We certainly can.
Okay, so we have heard one,
Mhm.
U2, which I think all of us, Mr. Rogers, have you attended a U2 concert?
No, Mrs. Groom and I were trying to deduce during one of the breaks how many concerts and who we've seen in our lives.
Well, I haven't
Right.
been to many concerts, but I've been to see U2 a number of times. They're one of my favorite all-time bands. And Mrs. Groom, Mr. Daley, and I have all been.
You've been to U2, Mr.
Yes, I
Groom?
have.
Oh.
I have.
Yes. And so our first song was One by U2. Our second song was My Lovin', You're Never Gonna Get It by En Vogue. I think you are a fan, Mr. Daley. of En
I used to sing that all the time.
And so my question is, at this point, what year do
Ooh.
you think all of the songs?
Well, so
from
far we've
today-
only heard two, right?
Well, but I think we could make our preliminary.
Can we at least say what the third song is? Maybe that'll help us.
Okay. The third song we're going to hear is Under the Bridge, Red Hot
Chili Peppers, sure.
I know it was out of high school when that played, but it was still in my brother's partying with his friends' age. So I'm thinking mid-90s.
Okay.
Close to mid-90s.
Mr. Daley?
Yeah, I'm with Pete. It's probably 93, 94-ish, somewhere around there. But, I could be off by a year or two.
Okay. You sure could. Let's see. Mrs. Groom?
Oh, boy. Okay, so I was thinking 93, 94, because I think I might have been married. So I'm going to say...
I was
maybe-
just barely out of in
Well,
college.
I got married very young.
Uh-huh.
Me too, Mrs. Groom. I think we got married the same year.
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
As soon as I heard the En Vogue song, the numbers 9-3 went into my head. So I'm also going to go with 1993.
Okay. So
It's tough. It's
I
it's
think
tough.
Right
it's a long time
before
ago.
we end, go out, I'll announce the last song, and you could make any adjustments, and we'll announce it.
Sure. Sounds great. Sounds great. So so as we've been kind of bantering and talking about this morning, though, in all seriousness, Westfield Technical Academy is in the midst of, like, as we call, recruiting season right now, and getting our 8th graders to come and visit the site. And I know you've both said that it's been an outstanding week on that front. We've expanded the shops here over the last couple of years too, right? And we have more offerings than historically we've had before. So why don't you give us a rundown of what our incoming freshmen will go through exploratory and have opportunities to choose perhaps from a few different shops and maybe get their first, second, or first or second choice.
Yeah, we have expanded. Some of our shops have been our IT department has expanded over the years from just being a networking, and now we have web and program design. We obviously added the radio and TV thing, so that's been fantastic. We've increased the number of students. Able to increase the number of students. We're going to be able to increase the number of students in construction because we're offering cabinet making.
Yes.
Which is going to be a big deal. And they're building a house on Mill Street. So if you're looking to see what our construction kids are doing and our electrical wiring kids are participating in, that is on Mill Street.
And we were there for the opening
groundbreaking.
ceremonies.
Yeah, I didn't get
and the
invited to
groundbreaking
that.
for that.
So that was nice. So that was good. So
and aviation.
Aviation, of course, is self-explanatory. They are always top dog for requesting them with electrical wiring. Allied Health, Business Tech are two viable options. We have culinary, auto tech, auto body, collision tech. We call it, not auto body. Right. All right. And I think that's did I miss any, Mrs. Groom?
Did you say horticulture?
I did.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I think so.
And of course, we've been gushing over culinary all morning, as
culinary.
we do every time that we come here, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, if our listeners didn't know or our viewers didn't know, Grace from culinary could probably have her own show okay, on the channel.
Yeah.
So she's doing a great job in culinary, but she should be maybe in graphics and TV and radio communication.
Yeah,
We tried. I tried hard when she was a freshman. I tried.
Yeah. Grace is no stranger to the show, and she's definitely the face of many things here at Westfield Tech.
No
She's
question.
the Skills USA. Are you the president, Grace? President of Skills USA, and she led the charge last week, the last 3 days with tours.
Yeah.
So we are very lucky to have a student like
Oh, no
Grace
question.
in our school.
Going big places.
And Grace, where did you get your start in education in the Westfield Public Schools?
Hi. I got my start at Paper Mill Elementary.
What a wonderful.
Where did you go to middle school?
At the middle school.
Yeah. Guys,
That was
Yeah.
a good choice.
I mean, you're trying to take credit for where she lived. That's why she went to Paper Mill.
Oh!
No, I'm
I
not.
had a
I'm not saying that she
wonderful
weren't a great principal.
while I was there.
Grace,
Yes.
thank you
I won't.
so
I don't remember their name though. So.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Grace,
No,
thanks
she
a
was
lot.
great. Thank you, Grace. Hey, Chris, before we go, and I
Yeah.
know it's time is coming up, but you have a son here.
I do.
And I wanted to ask you why was this a choice for as a father? Not to take your your admin hat off for
Sure.
a second. What intrigued you? What made you interested about sending Al here?
Yeah, great questions. And to go further back than Al, this is where I'm going to use the term pushed, but not literal pushed. This is where I wanted Lewis, my oldest, who's now 23. This is where I wanted him to go, simply because being his father, I knew his learning style and how he was more of a kinesthetic learner and how he needed his hands in the midst of things in order to be more successful. But as you mentioned something earlier that I don't think gets enough airtime, and that's we're asking 14-year-olds in 8th grade really to decide not necessarily what they want to do for the rest of their lives, but in some cases what they want to do for the rest of their lives. And that's a hard age to make the decision between, do I go to a school where I know this is how I learn best, and there's a shop there that I really want to get into because it could be my career, but all my friends are going to Westfield High. Or I want to play football really badly, and only Westfield High has it. So those are tough choices. And for Lewis, he made the choice to go to Westfield High because of his friends. And to this day, he's like, I should have gone to Westfield Tech.
Yeah.
Alejandro knew from middle school, in his first visit here, this is where he wanted to go, and this is where he was going to be successful. And it was this shop that he wanted to be in, TV, radio, and communication. So I didn't have to sell it to him as a father. He wanted it from Jump Street. So it was great. And he's a junior now. I can't believe that either.
Yeah.
And he's doing very well.
Yeah,
very
he's doing great. We love him. Obviously, we love him. He's adapted well, and
a lot of that credit goes to you guys too, because the relationships that you build with kids are second to none. I think.
Mr. Rogers, it's all about relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take the rigor and the relevance and put it on a table down here, because the number one thing is about relationships.
Right, but let's not forget the rigor and the relevance.
Right.
Those-
We have it.
We have it.
We got it all. We got all three. The 3 R's of education. Yep. Let's have it.
So as a father, I'm very proud and I'm very glad that he's here and doing well.
Yep. So what is the year?
I think you just saw it on my.
I didn't.
Okay, so Pete is going to play our last song, which is "Don't Let the Sun Go Down." Elton John and George Michael. Mrs. Groom, that cements.
What happened to the
for
Chili
you.
Peppers?
Well, the chili, yeah.
Yeah, let's play the
did
Peppers
happen?
instead.
Well, if we
We'll play
were
that one
gonna
going
have
on.
4 songs, right? If we were to have 4 songs, that would.
Okay, I apologize. I misunderstood you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. My fault.
So, what year? What's your final guess now? You've got the whole picture.
I don't even know. I'm gonna say 94.
I'm sticking with 93.
Because of that, I think it was before I got married, or during the same year, 92.
Okay, and the year is 1992. Nice
Wow.
job, Mrs.
Good
That
job.
song, I wouldn't have gotten it from the other songs.
Really good.
So that was the year I graduated high school. These were the times.
Yeah,
I
me too.
graduated
Give me a
college.
break.
92.
No, I'm just
I was
saying.
4
No,
years
I'm
out of high
being
school
very
at that point.
serious.
Me too, Pete.
I'm-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got married in high school
You did.
Okay.
No, you were not.
to my high school crush.
Well,
So when do we see the ratings on which show had the higher ratings?
I don't know, because I don't know if they get the envelopes with Nielsen ratings like Stefan and I do.
All you gotta do is go look on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think they go by the YouTube plays.
Yeah. Now, not to belittle you guys, but we're pumping numbers up well over what you guys put, and you are open to the entire district. Where we just our watching forum is just simply Westfield Tech parents, students.
But I
and
think,
and
part
national
of
listeners.
that. No, in all
California.
seriousness, though, and we need to give you credit and kudos as you deserve, because as we were saying during one of our breaks, one of the great things about your show is that you have kids on virtually every week, which is a huge thing, and we do that, just not as much as we'd like to, because our audience is such, it's like you said, it's larger, it's vaster.
Smaller.
We're
Really
tackling
national, I
it.
think.
We're
Is it-
tackling more things than just Westfield
District
Technical
things.
Academy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Citywide
Big-
things
yeah,
too.
Big citywide
Yeah,
district
absolutely.
things. School
So-
lunches, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's good. It's very
Folks,
interesting.
I hope you have enjoyed the last hour of Superintendent Spotlight. Next week, though, there will not be a show as it is school vacation. So there won't be a live show, I should say. We'll
there'll be 4 hours of Bobby G and Company next week.
Okay, great.
We're going to give him the whole 4 hours.
Tune in to Bobby G. He does a good job.
He's jonesing on doing a lot of different music stuff.
He does a good job and pumps the school up a lot,
And
Bobby
I like
G.
Bobby
so.
G's music choices
Yeah.
as well.
He does well.
Maybe
So
I'll
I
get
just-
rid of that show.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mrs. Dargy and I would like to thank Mrs. Groom and Mr. Daley for being our guests today, and
thank
we
you
hope
so much.
everybody has a wonderful
for having us.
vacation
We had a
week
great
next
time.
week, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. All right, Pete, take us out. Be safe, be warm, have fun, everybody.
That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend is the city I live in, the city of angels. Lonely as I am, together we cry. I drive on the streets 'cause she's my companion. I walk through the hills 'cause she knows who I am. She sees my good deeds and she kisses the way